Welcome to the Isolation Diaries, a collection of thoughts from a gay man and his friends. Okay, so hello everyone. It's 28 days into the lockdown. We've got another 3 weeks of it at least, I've said today on the news. But let me give you a little update of the week so far before we crack on into our topic for this week. But yeah, what have I done? Okay, so in the past week I've been to Sainsbury's and I'm getting heavy on the baking. I'm doing loads of baking at the moment. I baked Millionaire shortbread, but I did like a biscuit base. I've made another cheesecake. I'm doing Rocky Road this week. I'm going to make an apple pie. Girl, I love baking and I feel like it's getting me through and it's keeping me really chill, which I think is really nice. Also, student finance came in. Oh my gosh, I've been waiting for it for the longest time. And I also finally got paid, which is really fun as well. So I bought myself a new ring light, which arrived today on Thursday, which is the day of recording. I also bought some clothes off ASOS, which is really, really cute. But that's been about it, really. I've got my submission date this weekend for my final piece of the show that got cancelled in my third year. So I've got to upload a 10-minute performance from my show. And I've got to find some monologues and a couple of songs for my online showcase, which is happening, which I'm so excited for. But that is about it. That's all that's really happened in the past week. But this week I thought we would talk about something quite cute, which is kindness. It was actually the theme of Creative Collabs this week, which is what I'm hosting over on Instagram, so you can go and find that at creativecollabs_. And the theme is kindness, and I thought, you know what, it really struck me because I think during this time of isolation, a lot of people, I don't know, I'm worried that a lot of people are just going to get stuck behind a keyboard, and I don't know, like there's been a lot of drama recently in the theatre kind of community, which I'm not going to go into because I am not getting into that shit. But if you know, you know. If you want to know, drop me a DM over at TheLewisSnell. But I thought we'd talk about kindness, and I've got a guest this week. So without further ado, let's get our guest on. Here we go. Okay, so our guest this week is Sophie Hughes. Hey girl.
Hi.
Oh my gosh, I
Hello.
love Sophie so fucking much. Like,
Stop
no,
it.
I do. I actually do. I love you so much because one, you're iconic. Two, you're the most beautiful singer I know. Apart from myself, I'm joking.
No, I would second you on that. Yeah.
You're incredible. But yeah, so Sophie, tell us a little bit about yourself before we crack on into anything. Like, what do you do?
Oh,
What's your life?
What's my life? Okay, so hi everyone. I'm Sophie Hughes. I'm 20. I'm a second-year degree student at the Brighton Academy, which is a drama school in Brighton. And I really enjoy it. It's amazing. So I train in like theatre, singing, acting, dancing, all that jazz, the pun. And yeah, and then in my spare time, I'm a part-time teacher. So I teach singing to kids, and then a barista on the side. I just do a bit of everything,
girl,
you know.
we love that. We love
juggling multiple balls at once.
What a
that
sensational
sounds
girl.
That sounds weird.
That's funny. Oh my god, iconic. But you're wild. You do a bit of everything, don't you?
I'm busy. Yeah, I try and keep myself busy. I hate being bored, so quarantine is
you and me both.
Interesting for me.
For real. So I was just before we came on the mic, I was like, oh, let's talk about like how we met, because I think God, it's gonna sound so weird, but I feel like I've met most of the people that I know on the internet. God, I sound like I just spend my life on like Plenty of Fish.
No, but like you can make really great friends through the internet.
For real,
you really can.
Real,
like,
for real.
I mean, we met through the MTAS page, where you were a mod.
I was an admin. Yeah, I ran that show.
You ran that show, and yeah, and I entered their competition in 2017. Oh my god, I would have been such a young.
I would have been such a young'un too.
Yeah, and I got into the top 10, and we were all put in a group chat, and me and Lewis just got on really well, and we continued like a friendship after the competition wrapped and finished.
Yeah.
And we've just kept in really good contact. So if I'm ever in London, we always meet up for a little bit of Bella Italia, don't we?
Oh my gosh, we do. We love Bella Italia. I'm a sucker for Italian food.
So good.
But
So
yeah.
it's definitely my favourite.
But yeah, so we met through MTAS, and then we keep in contact, and we're always there if we need a good old chin wag or a bit of.
The past like 2-3 weeks, we've definitely FaceTime nearly every day.
Oh my gosh, literally. That's like, I think that's been like one of the best things about this whole like isolation lockdown situation, is that we are just able to connect more with people that we don't usually have. Not that we don't have time for, but like Sophie's mum clearly just walked into the room.
My mum's trying to come in and give me a cup of tea.
It's cool. Take that cup of tea.
It's okay. You can come in.
I love this. This is so fun. Sophie's mum is also a queen. Sophie's mum is an absolute queen, and we love her so much. To be fair,
she's the queen of all queens. She's
to be fair,
the icon of all icons. You know.
Your whole family.
And she makes a banging cup of tea.
There we go. Your whole family are pretty iconic. To be fair, Nanny June.
They are pretty cool.
She's a queen. She's a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, my Nanny June. My Nanny June got a bit famous on the MTAS page.
She
for
did.
Doing stupid things like
rapping.
Rapping, doing the Philip challenge. That was hilarious. That was never meant to go live either. It was sent to one of the admins as a joke, and she just put it on the page, and my nan was like, no.
Yeah.
And it was so cute. And then the other favourite thing I think she's ever done was when Joseph was slating himself. And he replied to, she replied to him going, don't be so mean to other people, that's horrible. And I was like, man, he's talking about himself.
For those that don't know, Joseph, we took this Joseph Dennington, right?
Yeah, Joseph
Dennington is also a performer, and he's got an iconic voice. And Sophie
and he just got into Mount View, theatre arts, like,
that is wild. And then Sophie also did a cover with him. They did Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Oh, it's so fine. You slept that too. They did a cover of Somewhere Over the Rainbow, which is delicious. So go and find that as well. It's on Spotify now, isn't it?
Yes, I believe it is.
Yeah, it was.
He was kind of in charge of all of that.
That's
like, I'm
iconic.
not very smart with all that kind of stuff. I'm good at the whole editing. I can edit all of the vocals together, but
talking of which, because Sophie's been pumping out covers like there's no tomorrow, which actually are
one
beautiful.
after the other.
Honestly, I'm excited. So Sophie's done a one-woman version of "Soft Place to Land" from Waitress, which
I love that one.
actually
it's one of my favourite.
Brought me to tears, and I think
You're so cute.
I was having a midlife crisis, and then Sophie sent it to me. I was like, oh my god, this is beautiful.
Midlife crisis.
I'm only 21 and I'm having a midlife crisis.
Don't you mean a quarter life crisis?
No, trust me, midlife with the way that
midlife.
I'm going. But what else have you done? You did Dine Ain't So Bad, which was really nice.
Yeah,
and then you also
did I Will Always Love You by Whitney.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Because my Nanny June is a legend and beat cancer's butt, and we found out a couple of weeks ago. So I dedicated that one to her because she loves me singing that song. So yeah, that one made her cry a little bit, I think. But yeah, and then before that it was the one with Joseph. So yeah.
And most importantly, your one-woman version of Ex-Wives from Six.
Which isn't out yet.
It's not out yet, but I tell you what, everyone, you're in for a treat.
She's struggling with the videography. One being I just keep videoing and then watching it back, and I've got lipstick on my teeth, and I'm like, oh my god, so I don't check. I'm really bad at the whole. For someone who worked in the makeup counter for like 2-3 years, I'm terrible at that.
I'll tell you what, everyone. One iconic story about me and Sophie, right? So
I
came to Brighton once on my summer camp, and I was like, Sophie might be working. Sophie was working. She worked in Boots, and she worked on the benefit brow counter with her pals.
Yeah, Benny Babe.
And then one of her friends on the benefit counter did my brows, and they were
Amy, my friend Amy.
Okay, Amy, you're probably not even listening to this, but if you happen to come across it in your lifetime, you made my brows look incredible, and I miss you. And
she's awesome.
I want my brows doing it again, so I'm gonna have to come to
Brighton. I feel like you two would get on so well because she's so similar to me, and she's just like, she says things how they are. Like, she's even worse for that than I am.
Oh
she
my
says
gosh.
Things
That's
with no filter. No filter at all. And I love that about her. Like, she used to get herself in so much trouble for saying stuff, and I'd have to like dig her out of it.
Iconic.
And she doesn't mean it in a bad way. She's
Yeah.
just really honest.
Yeah.
And I like that in a friend. I
Yeah.
think that's important.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's good to have an honest friend, providing that
I feel
it's
like we're
been,
very
a
transparent
good...
with each
yeah.
other.
I think we're always honest, but it's never like harsh honest. Do you know what I mean?
No.
But yeah, I mean, like, I've not obviously said this. Well, I said it to you before we went on live. But the theme of this week is kindness, because I think it's like so important.
Kindness.
Like, genuinely, I think it's so important at the moment because, like,
Definitely.
you know, we've got the clapping every Thursday at 8 for all the key workers, which I think is really nice and necessary at this time. But I think as well, like I think even like in politics, like kindness has taken like it's like kind of overhauled politics in the sense that maybe people that weren't supportive of Boris at one point are now somewhat supportive because he's doing his best to get us through
Definitely. Like,
this
I mean,
situation.
I'm not going to talk about my political views.
Oh god, I mean
no one needs that on a podcast, but especially not from an uneducated.
Honestly, me.
But but like, you've got to hand it to him. He's doing the best he can for the country. And the poor bloke had it. Like, the poor guy had it. And I thought his video message he did afterwards was amazing. Like, thanking the nurses by name. All I hope is it does like change how things are done. Like, I know it was a majority of Tory MPs who overturned the bill for a pay rise and made it a stagnant. So I hope that his experience with this means that it changes that, because I do think, like, I've never understood the logic behind footballers earning that much money and people like nurses and doctors and surgeons earning, well, maybe not surgeons, earning a pittance. Like, I've never got that. And like, I know people whose parents are nurses and they do so much, like, and they work such long shifts, and right now they're holding our country together. So I feel like they need like they need all that support and representation.
For sure. You know what? That's the first time I feel like we've got apart from my coming out story, I feel like that's the first time we've got proper deep about actual coronavirus. So pop off, Sophie.
It's a scary time. I genuinely think I had it. I think
I had it 2 weeks ago. Remember 2 weeks ago when I was actually, I feel very short of breath.
Yeah.
Now I think I had
it just before you.
Yeah, I think I had a very minor version of it, but I'm okay now.
I was not well. I never miss uni, guys. Honestly, like, I'm a self-proclaimed goody two shoes. Like, I'll shine the apple on the shirt and give it to the teacher, you know. And I never missed college ever. Like, Reese literally had to. Reese is my boyfriend. He had to travel down to Brighton and force me not to go into college for 3 days when I had bronchitis.
You can't stop Sophie.
Me. No, I can't. I hate.
Sophie had a dodgy hip and was still like, let me do like 21 pirouettes into a shablam.
I was told I should probably stop dancing, and I kind of took that as a suggestion. But hey ho. And and I took 2 weeks off uni. I've never been that poorly in my life. It was awful.
Honestly, Sophie's a queen. Sophie is such a queen. Obviously, before I. In my intro, which you've not yet heard, Sophie, but I did mention to you, I was talking about kindness within the theatre community. Obviously, have you seen that drama that's gone on? I'm trying to like skim the surface of it.
I've seen it. I got caught down the rabbit hole, and it just made me sad, and I stopped reading it because it's just become a bashing contest.
Yeah,
like,
for real.
I know there are people who are probably more in the wrong than others, but it's just become very toxic, and I think it's caused a lot of like tension.
I think some people are getting too overconfident. Do you know what I mean? And I think
they don't have to face up to their actions now. They're at home.
Exactly. And I think that's the issue. People are not having to go out, and they're not having to face the world, so they feel like they can just make all these backhanded compliments, or they feel like they can override other people's opinions, which really does piss me off. It just doesn't take. I wrote this actually in a tweet earlier. Like, it doesn't take any extra energy to speak to somebody with like respect and decency. For real.
And it takes more energy to have an argument with someone or be horrible to someone.
Definitely.
And I've been brought up that way, to not speak to somebody how I wouldn't want to be spoken back to. And I just think that needs to be transpired into when people are typing out these 240 character tweets, because I think people just get so tap happy.
Definitely.
And they do it for the likes and the shares, and they forget that actually people are reading this.
Yeah.
Like,
I think as well, like, I mean, definitely some of the people that I've seen that have been tweeting about not only this, but do sometimes get a bit trigger happy when it comes to being saying what they think. I think, like, with some people, it just becomes so obvious that it's just absolute BS. Because, like, if you put on a front, like, there's so much of a front you can put on before it's just pure. Like, I can tell you're just trying
faked
to.
your persona, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
for real.
what's the point?
For real, and we don't like to see it. We don't like to see it.
No. Mama Hughes always taught me, never write something that you wouldn't want to then read 10 years later.
For real. Period.
So, like, before I send any messages, before I send any texts,
yeah.
like, if I'm in, like, a big thing, like, girls argue, boys argue too, but, like, girls argue. And it's always, like, text always comes into it, and people are nosy, aren't they? They're like, oh, I had so-and-so, and you had a fight, and, like, my response is always, you know, you're a mutual friend, there's no need to discuss it with you.
Yeah.
You know, it's not fair, and I have more respect for them and more respect for myself than that.
Definitely.
And I think more people need to do that, because
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm an angel. Like, I've definitely had my time when I was a teenager and
girl, me too.
opinionated beyond my years and thought I was the bee's knees. But I think definitely going to, like, an intense environment like drama school makes you kind of mature.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one, it puts up this thick skin on you if you haven't already got it. And like you say, it matures you a lot, which I think is good. And I mean, like, you know, we just got to spread positivity, I think, at the end of the day.
100%.
I think, like, that's one of the plus sides of the theatre community, is that, you know, we create these wonderful worlds that people can escape in, and we need to really, you know, bask in our creativeness and use that for the betterment of society in this
100%.
quite dark time, which is quite evident online, you know, through means of, you know, for example, the National Theatre putting up plays every Thursday online, and you know what I mean.
Yeah, and it's been lovely seeing how the theatre community has, like, powered together, and like, was it Paul Taylor Mills who raised like £50,000
for
or
sure.
something?
Yeah.
Like, that's amazing. That kind of money is going to help theatres keep open. It's going to support actors. And, like, as somebody who is self-employed and out of employment, and unfortunately only became self-employed not a year ago, so I can't get any money from the government in any of their schemes. Like, it is a tough time. So I'm sure there are actors and singers and dancers and choreographers in that position, you know. And it's a tough time, and it is nice to see people just being so open to, like, be caring. Definitely. And it's nice to see that side of it.
Definitely. And yeah, for sure. I mean, I always say in my podcast that these thoughts all tend to be just ramblings and a collection of thoughts put together, because I mean, I feel like whenever I have, like, a point to talk about, other than I feel like my coming out story, everything is very hodgepodge. So if anyone's sat there thinking like, Lewis, you've not actually made a consistent point yet, I wouldn't worry about it. But, like, yeah, I just felt like,
no, I think we have got to a point.
Yeah, I feel like we've spoken about the topic of kindness, for real.
Just like, if you wouldn't want to read that about someone else saying that about you, don't put it out there into the universe. And the thing is, employers look at, like, your social medias and stuff. You don't want to be that person that loses out.
Definitely.
Because of someone going back through your timeline, you know. I mean, like, you see it all the time, celebrities getting called out for tweets they did in, like, 2012.
Yeah, and then
before they had a following.
And then they get cancelled and stuff. Do you know what I mean?
This cancel culture just needs to go.
Yeah.
People deserve second chances.
Definitely.
Okay? No matter how. Okay, maybe not like
within reason, I suppose.
But, like, you know, like, people make mistakes.
Yeah,
people
definitely.
People make mistakes, and people deserve second chances.
Yeah. And
I think it's got to a point now where, like, you can set a foot out of line, and suddenly you just have this army of people online battering you, and it's not nice.
I feel like that's like a very big thing for influencers. Do you know what I mean? In the media, which I do like. And I do think some people do make mistakes, which I do think are quite unredeemable. But obviously there are some mistakes which are redeemable. I mean, the way that I see it is, like, in my line of work, okay, well, I mean, I get pretty honest here. But I mean, like, where I work, a lot of the men are very different to me. They're all like in their 50s and they've got very different opinions to me. And like the thing that I've learned is like to accept others' opinions, no matter how variant they are to your own.
Yeah, you have to respect other
Like
people's
I know loads of people
viewpoints.
that don't approve of people being gay, whether it be for, you know. Reasons that have been passed down through their family, or whether it be religious reasons or cultural reasons or whatever, do you know what I mean? And I feel like
Yeah.
me working where I work has been a massive turning point in that, because we do have so many religions at our work and cultures and everything like that, and it's just, you know, it's really opened my mind, and I think people just need to be more accepting of other people's opinions.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I'm a huge supporter of like LGBTQ.
Yeah.
Like, I've got people very close to me who are trans. You know, like
For sure.
And it's horrible hearing those like not ugly opinions, but very strong opinions. And I think there are ways of saying it that aren't as bad. Like, but you do have to kind of just take it on the chin.
Definitely.
But then don't let that stop you from expressing your opinion.
For sure.
Like you used to get it. Like it used to be my favourite thing on the beauty councils when you used to have someone like going through their transition come in.
Yeah.
And they always used to be so shy and they wouldn't want to bother you. And no one did it knowingly, but no one would help.
Yeah.
You know, usually like a customer comes in to the counter and everyone's harassing them like, buy this mascara.
Yeah.
And people would just kind of take a step back. And I would always be the one to step up and sit them down and be like, you're not wasting my time. Honestly, it's fine. And you hear these amazing stories and I think that's a really nice
people just
thing.
need to be more kind.
Just acceptance.
Acceptance, kindness, and things like that are honestly the key to a healthy community.
And then accountability. If you make a mistake, own it.
You literally
apologise and own it with your whole being. Don't give someone a half-assed apology.
For real. Like, in the words of Hannah Montana,
you know what?
Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody
has those days. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Everybody gets that way.
For real.
Literally, no. But like, it's true. Like, I've made mistakes in my life.
Yeah.
Like I'm 20.
Girl,
you're gonna make mistakes.
I've made mistakes.
You say things you regret. You do things you regret. You stand up. You go. You know what? Hold my hands up. I made a bit of a mistake there. I'm so sorry. And you fully own it. And I think that's important. That if people fully own their mistakes, there's no reason they shouldn't be given a second.
Hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. That's been awful cute. I've loved that. I feel like to finish off, because I try to keep my podcast under 30 minutes. I mean, so far my ticker says I'm running at 22 minutes, but I feel like we should finish with a little game for you, because I feel like it'll be quite fun. I'm going to ask you some questions. It's not really a game. It's nothing you can win really from it, but I'm just going to ask you some questions. Give me some quick answers. Give me some thoughtful answers. I don't really mind. You do you.
Getting in the zone.
I feel like these are some fun questions. Okay, Sophie Hughes, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Sophie, what is your favourite West End or Broadway show?
The Grinning Man. That was the best show I ever saw.
You know what? Zara will love that. I'll have to tell her that.
That was the best show I've ever seen. Wow. That's my best West End show. I've only seen one Broadway show, and that was Anastasia, and that was...
We'll take it.
Phenomenal.
It was cute.
Like,
Christy Oldsmar. Did you see Christy Oldsmar?
Yeah, I met her and Derek Penner.
Isn't Christy Oldsmar like the most giving person as well? Like, she'll spend so much time with people.
So lovely. Really cool story, actually. I met her before we saw the show, really randomly. We were walking. It was our first day in New York with the family, and they were like, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, "Broadway," and just made them come with me, dragged them along. And we were just walking down Broadway, and I was just like in awe of everything. I wasn't really looking where I was going, and I bumped into somebody, and they dropped what they were carrying, and I was like helping them pick it up, and it was Christy Altamore, and I looked up, and I was like,
"That is so cute."
Oh my god, hello. And she was like, "Hi," and I was like, "Oh my god, you're Christy Altamore, hi." It was really cool.
Okay, next question. Okay, you can do one of these things for the rest of your life. What is it? Acting, singing, or dancing?
Singing.
Yeah, I thought you'd say that.
Yeah.
Sophie loves to sing.
I couldn't live without it.
If you could eat one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Pasta, because there's so many variations.
Oh, that's a good choice. I'd say chicken nuggets.
That's a good choice.
I love chicken nuggets.
I'm meant to be going veggie, but it's kind of gone to pot since I came home
Oh.
from uni, because it's hard to be veggie in a house full of meat eaters, and you
Yeah.
don't get much choice over what you're eating. And like, there's not enough room in the freezer for me to have my own little section.
For real. It's always the case. It's always the case.
Chicken nuggets are good.
Oh, definitely. City or countryside?
City.
Sunrise or sunset?
Sunrise.
City break or beach break?
City break. These are
Ooh,
hard. I'm
dr-
bad at quick fire.
dream holiday destination.
Oh, I really want to go to Croatia.
That's cute. That's
really
really
want
nice.
They filmed Game of Thrones there, and I'm a bit of a Game of
I love
Thrones geek, and so is my other half, and we love Game of Thrones, and they
That's so
filmed
cute.
it in the castle, I think in Split,
Yeah.
and I really want to go.
That's so
And
cute.
it's beautiful there, they've got really nice beaches,
With
which
that,
completely contradicts my half answer, because I said I'd go on a city break, but hey.
with that then, what's your favourite TV show?
Killing Eve at the moment.
Oh my gosh. Sophie got me into Killing
I
Eve
got
on the
Lewis
side
on
note.
it, it's so good.
Absolutely love it. Favourite film?
Oh. I like a lot of films. Do you know what? I can watch Burlesque over and over again.
Yes. You know what?
I've actually watched that twice in one night once.
Have
at a
you? That's
sleepover.
iconic.
Yeah.
With that as well, I'm going to ask you that after this, I want you to do the riff in. Where it's like, yeah, that
Do you
one.
want me to do it now?
Oh my gosh,
or
yeah.
After?
You can do it now if you want to.
What the Say yeah.
Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. That
Had
was
something in my throat. That wasn't that good.
It doesn't matter. Oh my god, the listeners are gonna hear that and they're gonna be impregnated. I don't know. Is that no? Maybe that's not the right thing to say.
I
That
hope
is
not.
not the right thing to say. I don't think. But you know, we keep it real
I'm
here.
too
I guess.
young for children.
Oh my god, I can't believe I just said that. You can...
Don't worry. Earlier I said I'm good at carrying different balls.
Well, there we go. You'll be glad to know that I don't actually edit any of this out.
Oh, brilliant! Can't wait.
I know. And one final question. You can listen to one cast recording or soundtrack for the rest of your life. What is it?
Ooh.
I've got another
This is
question.
hard. This is really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what? This is really hard. I really like Mean Girls.
That's
Should I go Mean
delicious.
Girls?
Definitely. We like that.
Yeah, Mean Girls. We'll go Mean Girls.
I thought that was the final question, but I thought of one really good. Who is like
Okay.
your singing inspiration? You're a massive singer, and who's your inspiration?
Okay.
You can have a
Probably
few.
like-
I don't mind.
Oh yeah, I've got a few. Natalie Weiss.
Definitely.
She literally taught me to sing because I didn't have lessons until I went to TVA. So I watched her breaking down the riffs videos
Yes.
up until I was like 19, and she literally taught me how to sing. Like, adore
Amazing. I love
her
that.
work and her voice, and she's really funny. She's cool on Instagram.
Definitely.
A huge influence would probably be like Whitney Houston, because my dad loves Whitney Houston. And my dad was a DJ, so I've been brought up with like loads of like old classics. So it's hard. And then like I absolutely love Lindsay Mendez. I'm obsessed with her.
Yes, I
She's
loved
so
her
cool.
Broadway.com.
Changing My Cast album, Dogfight. Sorry,
Dogfight.
I forgot. That
Zara
slipped my
will
mind.
also love that. Zara loves Dogfight.
I love Dogfight.
Oh.
So good.
Well then, you know what? We've had a nice little chinwag. We have.
We have.
I've loved it.
It's
I
been
actually have.
fun.
It's been nice to have a little chinwag about kindness. I just think it's a nice thing to talk about, and talking about our
Yeah,
lives.
these like troubling times, it's nice to just
Definitely.
have like some happiness spread,
Definitely.
you know?
And now you all know how we met each other and everything like that.
And
But
that we're
yeah,
weirdos.
thank you for coming on. I've really enjoyed it, and
No worries.
and you're my second guest, and which I love.
Woo!
I'm finally actually getting guests on here.
I'll come back again. It's been good fun.
Yes, we love to see it. The real question is, where can everyone find you? Give us your.
Oh, okay. So I have Instagram and Twitter, and they've got the same name. So on brand.
We love it.
Look at
It's
me.
so easy.
So it's Sophie, Sophie, then an extra E, H, and 2 underscores, and that's all lowercase. And then if you type Sophie Hughes into YouTube, I should come up.
Find her. You'll find her somewhere. She does covers.
But if
and
not,
they're
and
delicious.
you find my Instagram, it's in my bio anyway. So there you go.
There we go. Well, how about that?
How
Oh,
about that?
I've loved having you on with us today.
Thanks,
And
gorgeous.
I can't wait
Think
to
it's
have
fun.
you again.
Yeah, I'll come back again.
But we love to see it. But thank you everyone for listening, and I hope you've all enjoyed our ramblings, and I'll see you all next week.
Random talking.
Same place, same time. There we
See you
go.
later, guys.
See you later, Hans. See ya. Right.
Bye.
I always find it really awkward finishing a podcast because I never know how to do it.